At the beginning of the story, it is shown that a priest, along with his companions, is moving toward the Sola Mira hive. Somehow they manage to get inside, but as soon as they enter, Black Hat senses that something is definitely wrong there. However, the priest does not listen to him. He tells his companions that they must find the queen at any cost, and so they continue moving forward. Suddenly, they hear some sounds coming from ahead, and everyone prepares their weapon. But soon they realize that it is a trap, and along with the priest, they begin to sink into the ground, as if something is pulling them downward. One by one, they all fall victim to the trap. Only the priest in Black Hat manage to run toward the light. But just as they are about to exit the cave, Black Hat also gets caught in the trap, and the priest is unable to save him, despite wanting to. It is said that vampires have always existed in this world. For centuries, a bloody war has been going on between humans and vampires, in which both sides have destroyed not only each other, but also the entire world. To get rid of the vampires, humans took refuge within the four walls of the church. Moreover, they sealed their cities with gates marked with church symbols. Then humans created their greatest weapon against the vampire: special kinds of priests. These special priests were powerful warriors who had mastered the art of destroying vampires. They were so strong that they could wipe out entire vampire armies on their own, and any survivors were separated from each other and locked away in prison. But when the church authorities felt that vampires were no longer a threat, they gradually began reducing the number of priests. Eventually, only a few priests were left in the world, no longer considered necessary. Their existence also slowly began to fade away, just like the vampires. Many years after all these events, we see a man named Owen digging his farmland to check the condition of the soil for cultivation. He then tells his wife, Shannon, that he thinks they should start farming. At that very moment, Lucy also arrives home. Owen asks her where she had been until now, and Lucy replies that she went to the city. Hearing this, Owen becomes furious because Lucy went to the city despite his refusal. Lucy responds that she is grown up now, but Owen bluntly says that if she wants to live in this house, she must live by his rules. "I feel like I'm in prison. This house feels more like a jail," Lucy shouts. Shannon steps in and says there's no need to fight so much and that they should talk lovingly. Suddenly, the ground begins to shake and Lucy becomes extremely frightened. Owen goes outside to check and sees a group of vampires heading toward the house. He immediately tells both of them to go downstairs. Shannon opens a hidden space in the house and sends Lucy inside. She tells Lucy not to scream no matter what sound she hears. However, Shannon stays upstairs to help her husband. Just seconds later, Lucy hears gunshots and the screams of her parents as the vampires brutally kill them. Suddenly, the door to the hidden room opens and someone knocks on it. Seeing this, Lucy starts trembling with fear. The scene then cuts directly to Cathedral City, which is still under the control of the church. There we see the priest heading back to his home. In the elevator, he sees a child with his mother. Innocently, the child asks the priest about his tattoo, but the mother scolds the child and tells him not to speak to the priest like that. As soon as the priest is about to enter his room, he grabs a man who has been following him for quite some time. The man introduces himself as Hicks and says that he has come from the city where the priest's brother Owen lived. Hicks tells the priest that Owen has been injured and that Lucy has been taken by the vampires. Poor Shannon did not survive. The man follows the priest inside and says that Lucy always talked about him. She used to say that if anyone could kill vampires, it would be her uncle. Hicks says that he is going to rescue Lucy and wants the priest to join him, but the priest does not immediately agree. He goes to the senior church officials and tells them that vampires have attacked his family. However, they dismiss his claim, saying that no vampire has escaped from prison and that it must have been the work of bandits. According to them, all vampires have already been eliminated. Still, one of them, Father Chamberlain, tries to help the priest, but he is stopped as well and told not to shake people's faith. Meanwhile, on a high-speed train, vampires are transporting Lucy locked inside a cage. One of them starts mocking her when Black Hat makes his entrance. Black Hat tells Lucy that she has been kept in the cage only to keep her alive. Lucy responds that her uncle is a priest and that he will definitely come to save her, and then they will all die. But Lucy does not know that Black Hat has been waiting for this moment for centuries. Back in the city, Father Chamberlain tells the priest that he is unable to change the decision no matter what he does. Hearing this, the priest becomes deeply disappointed. He starts thinking that even after so many sacrifices, no one is willing to even listen to him. And if the church was no longer willing to help him, then he would have to take the matter into his own hands. At that moment, the church soldiers surrounded the priest from all sides. Chamber said, "Think only about good things. Don't do anything that you might regret later." Hearing this, the priest became deeply saddened because now he would have to go against the church itself. Within just a few seconds, he took down all the soldiers one by one. After that, he took out his weapons and left the city to rescue Lucy. Leaving behind the last signs of the human world, the priest entered the desolate and dangerous wasteland. Moving forward at great speed, he went straight to his brother's house. The priest entered the ruined house and found a photograph of Owen's family inside. Outside, Hicks thought that looters had broken into the house. But when he realized it was the priest, he became very happy. Then both of them went to the city together. As soon as they arrived, Hicks drove a salesman out of the city because he was trying to sell fake anti-vampire weapons to the people. However, the townspeople instead started blaming the two of them, saying, "We need weapons. Why are you stopping him?" Hicks replied, "Now the priest is with us. No vampire will survive." Later, Hicks and the priest started talking while waiting for the doctor. They had come there to see Owen. Then the priest went inside and sat beside Owen. Owen asked him why he never came back. The priest replied that he was never allowed to return home. Owen said sadly that they had killed Shannon. The priest tried to console him, saying that Shannon gave him life through her sacrifice. Crying, Owen begged his brother to save Lucy at any cost and destroy all the vampires. Later, Hicks told the priest that the church's men were looking for him and were not allowing him to rescue Lucy. "But I don't care," Hicks said. "I want to join your team to save Lucy." The priest replied that Hicks was not yet ready for all this. Hearing that, Hicks picked up a bullet and sliced it into 2 pieces in midair with a knife. Seeing this, the priest asked him if he knew how to use a gun. Hicks replied, "I can use a knife better than a gun." Then he asked the priest, "You don't even use guns, so why do you make so many bullets?" The priest replied, "They're for you." Meanwhile, in Cathedral City, a female priest was summoned to the church and ordered to capture the main priest, dead or alive. She did not like this order, but she was forced to obey it anyway. On the other side, the priest was performing his brother's last rites. Yes, Owen had now also died. He was buried alongside Shannon. Soon, Hicks met the priest at Owen's house and asked if he had found any clues. The priest said that he had found footprints that belonged neither to vampires nor to their human servant. After that, they began searching in the direction from which the tracks came. Soon they arrived at the place where captive vampires were kept. Hicks said, "These are the lowest of the low among humans." They did not have much time, as the sun was beginning to set. When they went inside, they saw that there were no guards. The entire place was filled with humans who watched over the vampire. Hicks realized that most of these people were doing this willingly. He approached one of the servants who said, "The priest is not allowed to come here. This place belongs to us. We don't like priests at all." Hicks explained what they were looking for, but the servant replied that nothing like that had happened there and that no girl had come. After that, they opened the main gate and went inside. But the place was nothing less than hell. Corpses of soldiers were scattered everywhere. The priest entered a cell and began interrogating one of the servants, threatening that if he didn't tell him about Lucy, he would dig up his master's grave. Suddenly, a group of servants appeared, ready to fight. They attacked Hicks, forcing him to run outside. But more servants were already waiting for him there. Just in time, the priest arrived and killed all the servants except one, because he still needed to question him. But that servant began speaking on behalf of the vampires, calling the priest a monster instead. At that very moment, the sun began to set, and the servant said, "It's already too late. The night belongs to us." As soon as the sun went down, vampires began emerging from their graves and immediately surrounded the priest and Hicks. The priest took out a Bible and began to read. At the same time, he pulled weapons from between its pages and killed 2 vampires, then started fighting another one. Meanwhile, Hicks tried to shoot a vampire, but when the vampire overpowered him, the priest stepped in and killed it. Suddenly, one vampire screamed loudly and ran away. The priest returned to the servant, who, out of fear, finally revealed that Lucy had been taken toward the west, but they had no idea what awaited them ahead. Just then, a vampire returned and attacked the priest. As they fought, both of them fell into the servant's area. Hicks pulled out his gun and waited. Although 2 of them went down there, only the priest came back out. The 2 then discussed what to do next. The priest said that the 16th Mirror Hive was to the west. Hicks replied that he thought all the hives had been destroyed. The priest said that it was still necessary to check. If they found the vampires who had disappeared from prison, they would also find Lucy. After that, the priest began teaching Hicks how to kill vampires, explaining that they are not like humans. They are different. To kill a vampire, one must anticipate its moves in advance. Meanwhile, the city's salesman went to meet Black Hat to give him some information. But the salesman said, "I need something in return for this information." Black Hat threatened him and said, "I'll drink your blood, you bastard." So without arguing at all, he handed over all the information. The salesman told him that after taking Lucy away, the priest had come to the city, and a young man named Hicks was with him. Hearing this, Black Hat said, "Very good job," and then drank his blood and turned him into his servant as well. At the same time, the female priest reached Owen's house. But how could she find the priest there? He had already set out toward the west with Hicks. While resting briefly on the way, the priest asked Hicks whether Owen knew about him and Lucy. Hicks replied that he did not. When the priest asked, "Do you truly love Lucy?" Hicks answered yes. The priest then said, "If she is infected, I will kill her." Hearing this, Hicks immediately protested, "I won't let you do that." Eventually, they reached the hive and began climbing its walls. As soon as they stepped inside, memories of past battles began to haunt the priest, of the time he had come there with his companion. He turned on his light and told Hicks to shoot anything that came in front of him. Then the priest jumped down into the tunnel. Meanwhile, Hicks found a toy buried under the dirt and started looking around the area near the hive. Just then, a creature appeared behind him. Down below, the priest was examining the hive's tunnels when he saw someone run past him. He immediately chased after it. When he saw light at the far end of the tunnel, the female priest suddenly tried to attack him, but failed. Her real name was Tia. The priest asked her what she was doing there, and she replied that she had been sent to capture him. She added that she and the others had already gotten separated. The priest explained to her that he had no choice but to break his oath. Just then, they heard gunshots from a distance. While searching for Hicks, the priest told Tia that a monster guards this hive, a creature so large that it cannot come down below. Soon, both priests jumped outside and began fighting it. The monster struck with great force and knocked the priest down, then chased after Tia. Circling above, the monster looked for an opportunity to attack again. But by then, the priest and Tia had reached it, and the priest struck and defeated it. Suddenly, the monster regained consciousness, but this time Hicks shot it and finished it off. Later, the two priests talked while Hicks stood guard. Tia said, "I didn't come to capture you. I only came to warn you." Soon, they reached a newly rebuilt section. When they went inside, they saw a massive base that looked like it had been built for a new army. Strangely, there was no one there. Suddenly, the priest came over to Tia and Hicks and said, "The wind is changing." Soon, they noticed a large exit that opened directly toward Jericho City. That was where the other priests were headed as well. Meanwhile, the vampires' train arrived at Jericho Station, shocking a worker there. The train stopped right in front of him, but no one came out. When he went to check the door, a vampire killed him instantly. Then Black Hat stepped out and ordered his army to begin their operation. A family was peacefully listening to music in their home when a vampire broke in and attacked them. The entire city fell into the grip of the vampire army, and Black Hat enjoyed the chaos as if he were attending a concert. Suddenly, 3 priests arrived and began fighting Black Hat. However, Black Hat easily killed one of them. Then he said to the remaining 2, "Tell me, do you want to join me, or do you want to die like him?" The next morning, when the 3 of them reached the city, they found it completely deserted. They split up to search the buildings for any survivors. During this, Tia found a bundle of dynamite, while the priest entered an empty house. When Hicks and Tia met again, Hicks said that no one seemed to be alive. Hearing this, Tia replied, "There were too many mouths to feed." Soon they saw the priest sitting in the middle of the city, praying for the souls of his 3 fallen companions. Seeing this, Tia sat down beside him as well. In anger, Hicks asked, "What kind of vampire could kill 3 priests so easily?" The priest replied, "We've never seen anything like this before." Then he realized how the vampires had vanished from the city before sunrise. They quickly went to the train station, where Hicks explained that the train travels between cities and that its next stop would be Cathedral City. Hearing this, both Tia and the priest understood that it had all been a carefully planned move to lure all the priests out of the city so the vampire army could attack the cities freely. Tia then showed them the dynamite and explained her plan. They would blow up the railway track with the bomb, and meanwhile, the 2 of them would rescue Lucy from the train. The priest went to refuel his bike. At the same time, Black Hat gave food to an exhausted and badly injured Lucy and said, "You must be wondering what I want. I want the same thing everyone dreams of, peacefully living life without any restriction." Cleverly, Lucy picked up a knife and hid it. She then asked him who he really was. Black Hat believed that vampires were superior to humans and that he now wanted to cleanse the world of its filth, humans. He was convinced that Lucy and the priest would help him in this so-called noble cause. Elsewhere, Hicks asked Tia whether she truly believed that the priest would kill Lucy if she turned out to be infected. Tia explained that slaves have vampire blood running through their veins, and such a life is no life at all. Before leaving the city, they burned the bodies of the 3 fallen priests. Tia then told the priest, "Remember, God is on our side." She confessed her love to him and said, "Don't worry, everything will be fine," and handed him a special weapon. Then all of them headed toward the train and waited for it to arrive. Suddenly, Hicks came from behind and threatened them, saying that even if Lucy was infected, no one would kill her, or else he would kill both of them right there. Tia then revealed the truth. "It's not just you who loves Lucy. Lucy is actually the priest's daughter." She explained that Lucy was just a small child when the church separated her from her father, and since then, her uncle Owen had raised her like his own daughter. The priest told Hicks, "If you kill me, you'll never be able to save Lucy alone. But if we all work together, there's still a chance." As they reached the train, the priest told Tia, "Even if we're still on the train, blow it up. Hicks quickly boarded the train. Tia rode ahead, with many slave riders chasing her, but she activated her bike's nitro and sped away like the wind. Inside the train, Hicks entered a compartment full of vampires while the priest climbed onto the roof, where Black Hat was already waiting for him. Seeing Black Hat, the priest was shocked. Black Hat revealed that the vampire queen had chosen him so that together they could rule the world. He invited the priest to join him, saying they would return to the city like brothers and destroy the elders in the church that had always oppressed them. The priest asked directly about his daughter. Black Hat replied, "I'm waiting for your decision." At that moment, the priest attacked him, but Black Hat easily blocked the strike and said, "I'm far stronger than you. This time, winning is impossible for you." Meanwhile, Tia had planted the bombs on the railway track and noticed the riders chasing her. She prepared herself and attacked them, defeating them all with her strength and technique. Suddenly, she realized that one slave had disconnected the bomb wiring, so she quickly improvised a new plan. On the train roof, the priest and Black Hat were fighting fiercely. Their strength was nearly equal, but gradually the vampire began to overpower the priest. Once again, Black Hat offered him a chance to join him, but the priest refused. Enraged, Black Hat knocked him off the train, believing he had won, but the priest was cleverly hanging beneath the train. Inside, Hicks fought his way forward, dodging vampires, and soon reached Lucy, who was being taken by a slave. As he was about to blow the door open with his gun, the priest broke in from another side, and vampires began flooding into the carriage. Hicks shot one vampire and then blasted a hole in the roof to let sunlight in. Together, they chased after Lucy. Just as they reached her, Black Hat stopped them. With a single blow, he threw Hicks off the train, but Hicks managed to grab a nearby slave's motorcycle. Back inside the train, Black Hat brutally beat the priest. Lucy somehow freed herself and set the slave on fire. She attacked the vampire, shouting, "Leave my uncle alone." Black Hat replied coldly, "He's not your uncle. He is your sin." The priest tried to attack again, but Black Hat grabbed him and pinned him to the wall with a knife. Then Black Hat dragged Lucy out of the train and stood at the edge with her. He told her that the world no longer belonged to humans and that a new age of vampires was about to begin. He said that she and her father were special and that together they could help build this new world. Lucy cried and begged him to stop, but Black Hat showed no mercy. Inside the train, the priest was still hanging helplessly, pinned by the knife. Gathering all his remaining strength, he pulled himself free, even as blood poured from his wounds. At the same time, Tia heads toward the train with a bomb strapped to her bike. Black Hat is just about to drink Lucy's blood when Priest suddenly attacks him. Lucy falls, but Priest grabs her in time. Both of them end up hanging off the edge of the train. Black Hat is about to push them down, but just then Tia reaches the train. She jumps off her bike, and the moment the bike crashes into the train, Priest grabs Lucy and jumps off as well. The train is completely destroyed, and all the vampires inside burn to ashes. Hicks sees the explosion and immediately rushes to the scene. Seeing that Priest and Lucy are still alive after such a massive blast fills him with relief. Lucy hugs him as soon as she sees him. Tia also walks toward them, and at that moment, Black Hat's hat falls to the ground. In the end, Priest enters the church and throws a vampire's head in front of everyone. He tells them that seeing the burning train outside the city will make everything clear. However, he also warns them that the vampire queen was not on that train, meaning the danger is not over yet. After this, Priest meets Tia, who tells him that the message has been delivered to all their allies, and they are moving forward to end this war once and for all. If you like the video, don't forget to like it. Subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.